Our second facilitator, who is in the person of Professor Mrs. Nana Afia Opoku Asare. She's a professor of education, teacher at the NUST Faculty of Educational Studies. She's a fellow of Chartered Institute of Leadership and Governance and a NEC member. She's into policy and she's into management consultancy. She's also a full member of the Chartered Institute of Administration and Management Consultancy, Ghana. Please help me welcome Professor as she takes us on the second session on leadership, creativity, and innovation. Thank you.
Mute. All right. Thank you, Genevieve.
Welcome, ma'am.
Good day, all participants, and you are welcome to the platform. Thank you to the earlier presenters, and now you are welcome to Ghana, because I'm presenting from Ghana. I'm from the heart of Ghana, which is Kumasi.
Okay. I'm from the giant of Africa.
Yeah.
I'm from the seat of power in Africa.
Oh, really?
Yes, the most populated nation in Africa.
Thank you very much. We'll see who is who then.
Wonderful.
All right, here we go. We are still on leadership. And from my perspective, I'm looking at the role of creativity and innovation. My name is Prof. Mrs. Afia Opoku Asare, as has been told you, and I am here to serve you. Let's go. We talk about creativity, and we need to understand what creativity is. And in leadership, because we are dealing with personalities, we are dealing with human beings, and we are dealing with people who are leaders in particular. Now, leaders are leaders because they work with people. They work with teams of people. And for us to know that every one of us in this world, every human being has been created with an element of creativity inside him or her. And therefore, if we are leaders of the people, we are obliged to provide opportunity for creativity to drive the innovation that we are seeking. As leaders, we know that one. And when we know that one, we should know that the people that we are working with are the ones for which reason we are leaders. So everyone must have opportunity to take part in our leadership. We are only one people, one person is the leader. So I'm talking about leaders in terms of individuals who are leaders of their teams, leaders of their organizations, and leaders in their respective levels. So take it from me that we need to look at leadership and to look at the creative aspect of leadership.
Hello. Hello, Prof. Hello. Hello, Prof. Please, are you there? Hello. Hello.
Okay, so whilst we wait for Prof to join us, Okay, Prof is back. I think Prof is back. You should kindly unmute her microphone.
Prof, please, if you are back, kindly unmute your microphone.
I have.
Thank you. Yes, you're back. We can hear you.
Yes. So creative leaders are the ones who have the ability to organize the people, ability to lead the people, ability to make things happen, ability to look at things in new ways, different ways. And so it is not business as usual, but creative leaders look for alternatives, possibilities in everything that we do, because creativity is the most essential thing. And because everybody has been ingrained with an element of creativity, everybody has the potential to provide the kind of support that our leaders need. So when we talk about creative leadership, we are talking about ability to create and realize innovative solutions. So leaders are there to solve problems, and leaders are also there to prevent problems from occurring. They are also there to minimize the occurrence of problems if the problems cannot be contained. So we need to do just that. So if you provide opportunity for other people, it means you are recognizing that everybody has a potential to find alternatives, to devise ways of looking at familiar things in unfamiliar ways. It means you are giving opportunity to people to help you drive innovation. Now, creativity is the creating or the generation of ideas. Innovation is the implementation of those created ideas. Okay? So if we have creative ideas, if we have new ideas, then it means our leaders will be able to put the people together, the ideas together, and to create value, and to create new ways or new things or new solutions to the problems that we have. And so we generate value from the creative potentials of our people. Now, let me ask you, I'm talking about creativity. So what is your idea of creativity? If you can just write something, what is your idea of creativity? So in the column, provide something for me, and let's look at it. I keep having my lights going on and off. All right? So in a few minutes, I'll go on, but I'm pausing so that everybody would show us at least what they understand by creativity. You want to share ideas. What is your idea of creativity? I guess you've put your ideas on the platform now.
Please let your ideas flow. You can type them for us, please.
Yes, please do. In a second, I'll continue. And I hope you've put your idea down and we can read. And Genevieve.
Yes, please. I'm trying to see. I've not seen any yet.
Okay, I'm waiting to see some because everybody has a creative potential. I've just said it. We are born with it, so at least we need to have an idea.
Creativity is creating activities around what you do daily.
Wow.
Creativity is the birthing of ideas.
Wonderful.
Creativity is coming up with something new.
Creativity
Wonderful.
is coming up with something new. Great.
Great.
Creativity
Good.
is having ideas to do something in a new working environment. Bringing
Wonderful.
ideas to reality.
Great.
Creativity is looking inwards and through the situation and experiences you have to bring out new solutions to existing problems.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Can we have one or two more? Can I go
Bringing
on?
something new on board. Yes.
Right. So last one.
The ability to come up with ideas or suggestions that can solve problems in a better and a current situation.
Wonderful. 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 So now, if we know leaders are there to solve problems, leaders are there to be followed. Leaders are there for everyone to know that this is the person who is showing us the way. Because from what we have learned, from what we know as leaders, leadership implies, because if you are a leader, there should be people following you, and there should be people who are willing to follow you. Otherwise, you cannot be described as a leader. But here I am talking about creative leadership, because we don't just want any leader, but we want a leader who can drive us in more productive ways. And we want leaders who would do things differently and help us to put our ideas together for our organization or institution to move on. So when we talk about creative leadership, I am saying that creative leadership drives productivity because it makes everybody's potential come out. Creative leadership also fosters success. That is what we are looking for in whatever we are doing. And then creative leadership also fosters or causes transformation in the company or the organization. So when we talk about creativity and creative individuals, what is it that distinguishes creative individuals from others? Everybody can be a leader, yes, but there are people who are leaders and we stand back and we see them as different from everybody. What is it that differentiates creative leaders from ordinary leaders? Here, I'm talking about skills. Skills that everybody has, yes. I'm talking about personality, because everybody has creativity ingrained in them. You are born with it. And there are traits in you. Creativity also requires willingness to take risks. Now you have just said creativity implies thinking in new ways, thinking in revolutionary ways to bring out new ideas, to bring out new solutions, to bring out new things, to bring out new products, to bring out new services. So a creative person has a combination of all this. The skills are there, the personality, creative personality, the person exhibits creativity. The traits, the person has the characteristics of a creative person. The person is also willing to take risk, because if you don't take any risk, you don't get anything out. That is what we are doing. That is what, as leaders, we are put there, or we place ourselves to do. Now, let's get to this point. Let's also hear examples from your organizations. Definitely you have seen leaders, different kinds of leaders in your institutions or organizations or companies or firms. Can you reflect now, in a few minutes, and identify some personalities, some leaders in your organizations who you would categorized as a creative person? And what are some of the creative strategies that this person or in the organization you can identify that actually places this leader or your organization or a certain level of your organization as being creative? What do they do? How do they do their things? What is it that they are doing that others are not doing? Or what is it that they are doing that is a bit different, or it is working for them than others? Think about this. Who are the creative leaders in your organization? Can you identify any? And anything about these persons or individuals that tells you, that convinces you that this is a creative leader? Knock that one down. We'll come back to that. So the idea is that when we talk about creativity, most of the time, our minds go to the creative disciplines, like people who are in the arts, the poets, the dramatists, choreographers, the musicians, the designers. But sincerely, when we talk about leadership, there are creative leaders who may not even come from these creative disciplines, because it is not in all organizations that you have these artists, that you have the musicians and the poets and all that. But remember, I have said, whether you believe it or not, when we were born, when God was making us, he designed us with creativity, because the Bible says that we are the image, being made in the image of God. God is the creator, and therefore we are also creators in our own rights. But we need to understand creativity in different ways, from different perspectives, from different cultural backgrounds. And we need to harness all this to transform our organization. So if you look at the slides, we are one people in the world. We are global citizens. We are local citizens. We are local globalized citizens. And our countries are different. We have our flags, even signifying who we are, identifying us. We don't have the same colors in our flags. Even in Africa, where we have lots of the green, the gold, and the red, and the stars, they have been designed differently. So you should understand that leaders are also different. And you need to understand creativity from these perspectives. Now, when you have done this, remember, leaders work with teams. If you don't have a team behind you, you can't be a leader. And so if you are a leader, you need to work with people. You need to identify a team. And every person also has their strengths and their weaknesses. And therefore, if you have a team, the team would also exhibit strengths and weaknesses. But once you have identified your team, you know that there is diversity in that team because the people are different. Each one of us were created differently in a very unique way. We look different, we talk differently, our languages are different, our colors are different, our size, our height, we are different. But what we are looking for is the creative spirit in the people, the creative factor of the individuals. And so we'll know this person has strengths in this way or that way. There are people who think differently, always. They will analyze situations in such a way that people might not even be thinking about the situation in that direction. But these are people, there are people who bring up those ideas. There are people who are so analytical. They can analyze things in minutest details and get results. And when you put all this together, you realize that the team is working and getting results. And it is the results, the creative ideas put together and used up, utilized in one way or the other, that brings in the innovation, what we are looking for. Now, I am saying that as individuals, we have creative potentials. But once we get in the organization and we form a team, we should focus on team creativity and not individual creativity, because we are harnessing the strengths of each of the individuals in the team to put together. And this is what the leader is expected to be identifying. And this is what the leader is expected to bring up and know that this person can do this. This person can lift these things. The other person can put it down. The other person can turn it around. But we need to put it all together. So as the leader, you are the one who has to do this. And it is not to do with what you believe or what you think you are or what you think you can offer. It is not do as I say or do, but it must be do as I do, because you are doing it. You are executing that one. So you are putting your creativity and the team creativity together. And therefore, when you achieve something, it is not your effort. It is the team effort. So teamwork has been pointed out in the earlier presentations. And I'm also saying teamwork, collaboration is important. Collaboration is what we need. And for our leadership to succeed, we are talking about diversity. Recognize diversity. Recognize diversity, because the people are diverse in age, they are diverse in experience, they are diverse in knowledge, they are diverse in very different ways, and they are diverse even in skin color. But that is not what we are looking at. We are looking at what they are able to bring to the table. And so sometimes you can get to choose your team. At other times, you would have a team to work with. But whether you choose your team and therefore make sure that you have diversity in there. When you get the team is given to you as the team you are working with. You also need to recognize that each one of them can provide something that will add to the collective effort to bring your creative ideas to the table so that we can put it all together like a jigsaw puzzle and provide the solution, which will be an innovative solution, something that is entirely different from what other people are doing. Even with the familiar products, we can twist and turn them to produce things that are actually looked at and you realize that this is different from that. Come to think of it, there are so many brands of toothpaste and other things on the shelves. But when we go into the shops, we know the brand we are looking for because there is something in it, something creative in it. And therefore, when you have your team, you need to establish trust and support for the team players. Remember, if you don't trust your team, if there is no trust for your members and what they are capable of doing, remember, your leadership will not be successful because it is not what you are able to do that we are looking at. We are looking at what you are able to do with the people and with what they are able to bring up. Leaders champion ideas. So you need to become champions of your team's ideas, not your own idea. That is how a leader can realize the outcomes he or she is or will be looking for. More people imply more ideas, but you are the one who should help the team to sift through the ideas and make what you want to do happen. Champion the ideas of the team, not your ideas. It is not your ideas. It is the team ideas. And therefore, how do you do this? Sometimes you may have to champion ideas that you don't like because the team is suggesting something other than what you think. But you must realize that they are offering you value, and they are offering value that will make the organization thrive and succeed. So diversity is there, teamwork is there, trust should be there, championing team ideas there. You must also allow for failure, embrace failure, so that you can review and revise your plans. Now, if your team cannot be allowed to fail from time to time, they'll never achieve great and creative things. The things that will baffle everybody and say, how did you do this? Allow your team to fail so that they will learn. You don't always have to tell them this is how you have to do it. You need to help them. You need to tap into their ideas, and you need to use that for the team to review the progress or retrogression that has occurred, and to revise your strategies so that you can put in more plans. Now, when you do that, you also encourage debate from diverse groups. Encourage your team members to disagree with each other, but that will be done in a respectful debate. You have one idea, I have another idea. We don't have to fight. That would be very, very negative. That is negative creativity. We can agree to disagree, and we can disagree also to agree. We need to come to the consensus. And you are the leader, and you are the one who has to encourage this respectful debate so that we can be civil with each other, we can tolerate new ideas, and we can tolerate the way people are thinking of what we want to do. Now, if you look at this slide, it tells you something. You see, the leader has hands in the pocket. It is the other person who has the placard that has nothing on it. And so you are saying, you want people to share ideas, but you are also saying, it's awful when you people demand the right, to hear other ideas. This is what we want to do. But do you really want to hear the alternatives from your team members? If you don't, it will be very difficult for you as a leader to succeed. So don't just hear your voice as a leader. Hear the other voices as well. Respect for your team members will help them to bring up the alternate ideas that they have. They will not be too scared to share ideas, but rather they will be willing to bring in the alternative ideas that they have so that the team can succeed. Give time to hear your people. So now, I'm pausing here again for you to think about the leaders in your organizations, or even you can think about yourself. Are you a transformational leader in your organization? And transformational leaders are creative leaders. Look at your context. If it's not you, Identify any leader in your context that champions ideas, or who is a team player. We use the term, I'm a very good team player. Very good team player. On paper we are, but in reality, we hardly give voice to the other people. But look at it, look at the context, look at yourself, look at your organization, and see if you can identify any leader in your context that champions ideas. And then compare them with other leaders, because we have varieties of leaders in our organizations, our departments, our levels, our offices. In the global sense, we have leaders who have shown creativity even in these COVID times. I am sure you can identify some of them. There are others whose nations are clapping for the way they have handled the COVID issues. There are others who are also being lambasted. But let's not go far. Look at your own organization. But don't forget that you are one of them. You are one leader. So, creativity. How do we measure creativity? How would you say that that is creative? Or what is the sense of creativity here? We are talking about people, we are talking about process, we are talking about products, and we are talking about the environment, the press. What makes us creative and what makes us not creative? We look at creativity as a person, as a creative person. It is how the person is able to manage what is creative about him, their skills, their experience, the exposure, and what they are able to do. Look at the process. How do they do that? How do those people translate their creative ideas? What kind of process do they adopt? Do they run over people? Do they insult people? Do they treat people shabbily? Do they always want to confirm that, look, I am the leader, listen to me? That's not quite creative. How do you do it? When we look at the product, the outcome, that is how people handle themselves, even in the organization. Look at leaders. How do leaders handle themselves and present themselves in the organization? There are others you can't talk about. There are others great leaders, but we can't have it all together. The idea is that we can be creative. And what is it in the end? That is actually pressing people to be creative and adopt creative means or not. So, creativity, that is what it is. Now, leaders, who do we say we are? Leaders are pioneers. They are the people who are willing to step out into the unknown. They are the people who want to project that this organization does things differently. They can be innovative leaders, the one that support and exude confidence in what they do in the right way, positive confidence. We talk about effective leaders. They are the ones who embrace change and newness, not the ones who will say, no, this is how we have been doing things. We can't do it any other way. So, leadership, we should know, is who we are, what we do, what we know, and what we deliver through our teams. And therefore, leadership even has a brand. And as we all know, successful brands focus on leadership and less about the products, the ones who generated those products, those brands. It is not the leader, it is the team of leaders who were able to move their teams to produce what they have produced. So that when the credit comes, it is not credit to individuals, it is credit to the organization, credit to the institution, credit to leadership. Now, let me ask this question. Are the leaders in our respective organizations exploiting the creative potential of the teams they lead? Remember, I said leadership or creative leadership is leadership that leads by example. It is not leadership that stands aside and tells the teams to go ahead and do it. So reflect on your organization. Reflect on yourself as a leader. What have you benefited from? Or what has your teams benefited from your example? How do you then become a creative leader? You can begin to look at creative leadership from today. There's so much material on creativity. There's so much material on leadership. And there's so much material on creative leadership, transformational leadership. We need to educate ourselves so that we can look at creativity in a wide angle, with a wider lens. We don't just focus on creativity the only way we know it to be. You start small and you master with time, and you encourage team diversity. So my message is, become a creative leader in your organization starting from today. So, are you the leader who will say, Auntie Essie, I've decided this organization should be more creative, so go ahead and do it, please? No, you are the one who has to say that these are the alternative ways I think we should be looking at things. What do you think about this? How else do you think we can do this? So you lead by example. I hope with this presentation, you use the tips to go out and deliver memorable creative leadership that will enable you to transform your organizations and your institutions. If you need more information, my email address is there. I'm part of the CILG Ghana. You can get back to me. Thank you very much. And my references
so
are
much.
also there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. I must say this was a very great presentation, very insightful, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, Prof. Thank you so much. And audience, if you can hear me again, teamwork featured here as well. Teamwork is critical if we want to be great leaders. Teamwork is key. And Prof also reiterated on teamwork. I'd like to say that there is one thing she said, and I would want us all to always, put it into practice. He said, hear the others, or hear the other voices too. It's not just about our voices, but the voices of others if we are talking about teamwork. Thank you so much. And I would like to open the floor for any comments, any contributions, any questions. From Regina, it says, fantastic presentation, Prof. Thank you for such an insightful presentation. From Her Royal Highness, she said, kudos to our dear Prof. Thank you so much, Prof. So please, the floor is open for questions.
Thank you too.
You're welcome, Prof. Prof, before the questions come in, I was very excited about seeing the culture. I saw a lot of pictures, very beautiful pictures that depict our culture as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Please, I'm all ready for your questions. You can actually unmute yourself and ask the question. You can also type in your questions for us. Thank you.
Hi, Genevieve.
Yes, sir.
Hello. I'm back
Is that
again.
David?
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, please. Please introduce yourself and then talk to us. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Genevieve.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Saban Debele. I've got 2 questions. The first one, Prof, how do organizations develop and lead strategic creativity and innovation?
Right.
How do we develop and lead strategic innovation and creativity?
Thank you.
The second question.
All right. Okay.
Why strategic innovation and creativity is significant in organization development?
Okay.
Why strategic innovation and creativity is significant in organization development? Thank you.
Right. Thank you too. Genevieve, would you like me to take it now or wait?
Yes, please. You can please take it now.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. How do organizations develop strategic creativity and innovation? We are leaders. In our own small ways, we work with teams. If, for instance, in an institution where you have a department and you have the head of department, that is the leader, and you have other members in your department. So if you are able to identify with the people in your department and realize that they have capabilities that can help the organization. Otherwise, why are they there? They are there because they have something to contribute to the organization. The idea is you are looking for their strengths and you are going to harness their strengths. So if you can place people in the right positions, you don't want square pegs in round holes. You need round pegs to fit into round holes. And you need square pegs to fit into square holes. You would be harnessing their creative competencies because they would be able, they'll be happy. They will be pleased to work. Work will come easily to them because if you have a strength, that is what you are able to put forward. So if you are able to put your right foot, the best foot forward, you know where you are going. And so organizations should not just employ people and place them anywhere. There are people in HR that don't even fit there because they don't have that rapport with people. They cannot connect with people because remember, interpersonal relationship is also a creative trait. There are people who cannot deal with themselves. How do you place such a person in an HR because the person has an HR qualification, but the person doesn't fit in there? Dr. Justine, in the first presentation, talked about the frontline staff. You say SMILE, Genevieve. You have that acronym, SMILE. But how do you force somebody to smile? It will be a plastic smile because the smile will not come from deep inside the person. The person is not enthused about what they are doing. And so they will not be able to do it in a pleasant way. They will not be able to do it the same pleasant way every time to everybody. When people are asking questions, they will not be angry because they are answering the same questions. They would be able to find a nice way to go about what they have to do. And therefore, organizations, when they are interviewing people, for example, they should be looking out for the creative talents that people exhibit. And as I said, people will need to read about creativity. You need to educate yourself about creativity, because this one presentation cannot give you all the details. So organizations have to have creative people working for them. And leaders, it's not just the training, they need creative training. And part of the strategic placement of people in the organizations, you need to look at what the people are capable of providing. It is not just the qualification, because you have somebody who has degrees in a string of areas, but they cannot perform well in those areas. And so just as leaders, we have to look at our personnel, our people. In our small way, we need also for the organization to look on the overall and see, how is this person performing? Is this person performing at their capacity? Is this person performing at their optimum? It is important that we look at that one. And then why should they, organizations should, they should adopt creativity and creative people to help them to transform their organizations. If you have bank staff, for instance, Genevieve, I'm using bank because you are organizing and you are in the bank.
Yes,
and that's what you do. Sometimes you go to the bank, the tellers are definitely exhausted, but some of them are so nice in presenting themselves, the way they will even look at you as if they don't even feel tired, but they are. How they would answer you, how they will talk to you, and how leaders. Sometimes we talk about leadership and we say there are some who are managers and there are some who are leaders. Everybody is a leader in their own rights. Me as a teacher in my class, in my course, I am a leader for my course. And therefore, I am a leader with a team of students. And therefore, if I fail, if I'm unable to do the right thing, if I'm unable to let my students like what I'm doing, it is going to affect the image and the brand that I have. So for me, this is what I think we need to do. Everyone has a creative potential, and it's important that we harness everybody's creative potential to move the organization on and to transform what we do, to give us the image that we need, and to say that this is our brand, and this is what everybody gets, no matter who. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, I'm having some feedback.
Thank you.
Kindly mute yourselves for me until you have to talk. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you very much.
Thank you
I have
too.
a question here. The question reads, who do you need more in a team between analysts, that is in terms of collaboration, and team player with collaborative attitude? Hello, Prof.
Hello.
Prof, please, did you get the question?
Please, can you repeat it? There's a distraction here.
Okay, so the question is that who do you need in terms of team members? Do you rely on someone who has a collaborative attitude or aptitude?
All right.
So I'm sure the skill, and then thank you.
Yeah. So team members, yes. Everybody has a team to work with. Now, if I'm head of department, I have lecturers I'm working with. That is my team. Now, I'm using myself as an example. I am in the university and I'm in a department. The department, I have courses that I teach. Other lecturers have different courses that they teach. If I am head of department, which have been for several years, I need to identify who is doing what to support who. Okay? So every organization has a team. There are team members. They are already there. As I'm saying, teams are there already. If you have the opportunity to choose your team, then it's beautiful. But I am in my department, all the lecturers are there. I don't have that luxury to say that I can work with this one, I can't work with that one. I've got to work with everybody, because when it comes to taking collective decision, it is not about me. It is a department. And therefore, it is the departmental board, which consists of everybody in the department, who meets, discusses the issues, takes decision, and the decision will not be my decision. It will be the collective decision. Now, that is what I mean by teams. Because if you are in the HR and you are the HR leader, you definitely have people you work with. That is your team. If you are given a project and you have projects, other people coming on board, they could come from other departments for you to do a project, execute the project, and bring out to the solution. Would you say you can't work with the project manager? Would you say that you can't work with the secretary? Would you say you can't work with this other person? No. You have to work with everybody. But you got to find a way of working with everybody. That is what it means. And so the teams are there. Departmental teams, supervisor. If you are a supervisor, you supervise a group of people, a level, a line manager. You have people that work with you. That is what I mean by teams. And so the people you are working with, whether on a one-off project or a daily project, or it is the monthly project, that's exactly what I mean. The people you are dealing with, the people you have to do your work with, those will constitute your team members. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. I saw, Dr. Asare Bediako, can you please help me with the other questions, please?
Okay.
I think
from His Royal Highness Oladale Olasuji, creativity instinct of future leaders of Africa has been marred with socio-economic and political challenges. What can be done to reorientate potential youth leaders in our nation?
Wow, that's a big question. Yes, creativity has been sort of diminished in a lot of our children in schools, because we don't allow them to be themselves. We think everybody must go to school, go to university. You must become a doctor. I want my child to be a lawyer. I want my child to be this, to be that. I don't want my child to be an artist. I don't want my child to be a designer. I don't want my child to be a musician. I don't want my child to do the arts. I don't want my child to do anything else but a decent team. Join a decent team. If you are a doctor, you are a decent, you are in a decent team. So because we have taken the courses, the subjects that actually make our students think outside the box, that is what we say. The box is the normal thinking we do. The alternatives outside what everybody will generate. Who are there who will bring out the ideas who will say these are frivolous ideas? Ideas that will say, oh, it is only when you want to go and cook that you need to look at this. There are subjects in the school curricula that actually give opportunity for people to think beyond what they actually do. And so if we don't give them that opportunity, if you don't give them that opportunity, don't give the children the opportunity to do what they want to do, to be able to express themselves, that is what we end up with. A nation without creativity. We only are following one rule. Everybody is selling on the street. Everybody is selling. If you go to the market right now, go to where the vegetable sellers are, and I'm sure you will point out, you will be able to point out the creative people in there. How they organize, it's as if somebody has given them a formula to follow. Others are doing things because other people are doing that. Everybody is going to Dubai to bring things to sell. They are bringing the same things. There are no variations. That is what we are doing. We are pushing our children to do what we think they ought to be doing, rather than to give them opportunity to be themselves and to be able to express themselves in the ways in which they are capable of, where their strengths are. So if somebody is a footballer, that person cannot be used for anything. But come to think of it, our own friend Dodria is president of Liberia. People were saying, how can a footballer be a president? But it's functioning. And so can we begin to think about things in different ways? Can we begin to think about teams collaborating? Can we begin to think about people bringing their ideas on board? If you don't want to hear other people, then you can't be creative. That is the whole thing. So creativity is personalized. Creativity exhibits in the skills we have, how we do things, how we manage ourselves, how we manage other people, how we project what has to be. Patriotism demands creativity, and everything we do demands creativity. So we need to think about creativity in different ways. If we look at our traditional textiles, one of which I showed, in fact two, the one from the north with the diverse colors and designs. That is creativity. We need to put it together to create beautiful pictures. The kente fabric has different colors, different designs, different motifs, different patterns, but put together harmonizes to give us the beautiful picture. That is what we should be doing. Each and every one has a part to play. But if we begin to look at individuals, we ignore the creativity. So our national creativity has to come back by us looking at collaboration, teams of people working on projects, and not saying that this is my work, this is my team's work. Very important. That is how creativity can be seen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello, Madam.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Hello,
Yeah.
Genevieve.
Yes.
Hello.
Sir.
Hello, madam.
Hello, Jenny.
Hello, madam Genevieve.
Yes, please. I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Hello, madam Genevieve.
I can hear you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Okay.
Jennifer, I'd like to say something before the next question.
Yes, Dr. Shengo, please, your floor.
Yes.
Thank you.
In regards to the question asked by His Royal Highness Olasoji from Nigeria, delighted to inform you that CILG, as a team, we've created a special program for the youth to ensure that we integrate them with the current innovation across the globe. And that program will be launched any moment from now. So I want to assure you that the concern has been addressed. And in line with what Prof is saying, you will, as you are feeling this from adult side, you will soon feel some program for the youth, both online and offline. So we promise to unfold the program for the youth very soon. And it will be brought down to your doorstep and to any other person on this platform. You will soon be aware of our program for the youth under leadership, creativity, innovations, and transformation. Thank you.
Thank you so
That's
much.
nice.
Dr. Kimbo, that's very good, because as we all know, we need to have great stock in terms of leaders in the future. We keep saying leaders, future leaders, but I think it's now, because the future is actually now. It's what we are seeing. So happy
Develop a program.
we are developing something like that. Thank you very much. And do put us in.
Prof, I think I
But we
asked
are-
earlier, how do you cope with leaders
Hello,
who don't
Genevieve.
consult and also appreciate?
Hello.
Can you please
Genevieve.
mute your phone for me?
Hello.
Yes, please, you can talk.
Mr. Tabani.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we would have to take the last two questions because we are far behind time. And there's a feedback coming from someone. So Mr. Tabani, you asked your question. We also will read one question. There's another gentleman called admin. I think you also want to ask a question, but your microphone is giving us this feedback, so we are not able to get your attention. So let's give a chance to Mr. Tabani. You asked the question, and we also read one question. Then after that, Prof can answer the two. Then we also receive response from our various country directors. Then we can end for today.
Hello.
So Mr. Tabani, you can go ahead.
Mr. Tabani, please talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc, for the opportunity. I've got a contribution on the last question that was raised on how best we can develop young leaders from Africa. My suggestion is that I think as Africa, or as an African continent, we need to revisit redefine and reconfigure our educational curricula and teaching practices, because right now we're embedded on the we're suffering from mental slavery from the colonial master, because you are living on a borrowed education from the West that does not suit our local context or our local challenges. So I think as Africans, we need to rethink and come up with the home-based solutions, home-based teaching practice that will embrace our culture, our traditions, and our values. Then from there, we can nurture young African people. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much. That's a great contribution. But I'd like to let you know that I think Ghana has started trying to do reforms in terms of our curriculum from the basic schools. We are adding leadership as a context in terms of what they teach them. And I have a couple of friends who have started some initiatives in Nigeria as well, who I know are championing leadership courses in school and the tertiary institutions as well. So that's a very great contribution. And I agree with you perfectly. I don't know if, Prof, you would want to say something on this or any other.
Yes. Unfortunately, you've just taken the wind out of my sail. But let me expand to say that I'm directly involved with the writing of the new basic school curriculum. And we have creativity as a pillar of the new curriculum. And it starts from KG, kindergarten. Now we have worked all the way up to senior high school 1. And it's all in there. And for senior high school as well, which will be implemented very soon. So Ghana has realized that we are lagging behind in our own creative abilities. And therefore, we have taken that initiative. And that is exactly what is going to happen. So the primary school one has already been implemented, and barely 1 year now. And COVID has cut it all out, but I guess we'll continue. And we have changed our curriculum, and it's going to work up all the way up to senior high school, Form 3. And therefore, the idea is that the people of Ghana, the youth of Ghana, will begin to look at themselves and what they are capable of doing or not doing, so that Ghana can benefit from our citizens. That is what we have started. And I believe other nations would also follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. And I would just like to add this before I go to the next question. because we are all trying to groom leaders, and as part of my work or contribution to leadership, I actually started a kids leadership club about 3 months ago, taking advantage of this COVID situation. So every Saturday between the hours of 11 in Ghana to 12, I take children who join even from the UK. So it will be 12 in the UK, 12 in Nigeria, just to start, embedding some of these principles of leadership in children right from age 5. Because I believe that when we start doing it now, by the time they get to teenage, they would have been much better than what we are seeing today. Thank you so much, Prof.
That's it.
So there is a question. Says, while trying to champion the ideas of your team members, when a leader sees that the team's idea can lead to a terrible failure in the company, let's say as serious as liquidation of the company, how best can a leader handle this without losing the trust and support with the team members?
Okay, can I take it up now?
Yes, please. All
right. We are talking about the seriousness of everybody's idea coming on board. Sometimes when these issues are beginning, we hardly even refer it to the people in our organization. And because we think this is a leadership issue, and we forget that, and again, it's because we don't work with teams. So we rather would depend on leadership and what we think and what we believe, rather than what the workers have. And I've seen enough of this. In the end, the workers or the people in the organization will turn back and say, if you had consulted us, this is what we would have done. We hardly give opportunity to our people to bring their ideas on board the issues that we have. So if we think things are going wrong, don't you think that our members would also probably have seen it as something else other than something is going wrong? But for example, if something happens in my department, and I have lecturers and I have students, and if I don't get the ideas from my colleagues, and I don't get ideas from my students, whatever idea I share will be my own idea. And remember, I am just one person. Collective ideas, who knows? 1 or 2 or 3 of them might be thinking about very brilliant ideas to save the organization, but we hardly will consult them. How can I go solo? Is it because I'm head of department? No, it doesn't work that way. So the idea is that teams would have to collaborate. We have to think and discuss and brainstorm and to deduce ideas and to draw conclusions that we think are what we need to resolve the issues. And then one team and the other team and the other team would also have to sit at the table and say, this is what my team is bringing. The other leader says, this is what my team is bringing. If we have 3 teams working, I'm sure we would have more ideas than just 3 leaders or 3 managers meeting. The idea of conflict is there, but that's part of the risk. If one person does not agree and 6 people agree, that is a majority decision. And I believe we can get a lot more from talking majority, but that doesn't mean that we must ignore the minority. So teams must deliberate on issues. They should be given time to discuss issues and time to brainstorm, an opportunity to sit together at the same table with management. But you see, in Africa and in Ghana in particular, we hardly would have workers or staff sitting at the same table with management. No, it doesn't always happen. It is rare. But I think it's because we are not creative enough. We need to adopt the idea of collaboration, brainstorming, discussion, questioning sessions, answers, thinking through issues, looking at possibilities, looking at alternatives, looking at what will work and what cannot work. And so we don't always go overseas to look at best practices. There are best practices in our nations, but it's because we are organizations, we have nothing to do with the other organization, even if we are dealing with the same issues. We are a bank, and this is one bank and the other bank. No conferring, no sharing of ideas. We cannot, because we are competing in the same market. How do we do that? But it is possible for collaboration to bring out best practices from other places so that we know what will work with one group, what is not working with our group, so we can try out alternatives. That is the essence of creativity and innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The way the session is going, I'm sure if we had time, we would have gone on and on and on. Because Prof, you are so much on fire, and I know you can go on and on and on. Thank you so much. Before we end, I'd like to give the Deputy Director of Africa Operations the opportunity to bring his submission, because I think earlier on he wanted to. So Dr. Oliver, if you are with me, please let me hear from you, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Genevieve. It's quite interesting how the discussion is going. And I've been listening to both speakers, starting with Dr. Segume and Prof. Nana. Thank you so much. You are bringing in very interesting issues that we need to discuss. The aspect of teamwork, the ability to identify weaknesses and strengths within the team, and complementing each other as a team. I think that's the basis of leadership, being able to understand and know the people that you are leading, and being prudent when it comes to identification of tasks, who to assign and what role to play. It is very, very important. We need decisive leaders. It's also very important, and I also like the contribution that was brought in by Mr. Tavani, that we need to instill leadership into our youth. It's a very important thing. It's so disheartening that the curriculum that we take our kids through, it's a bit diluted, and it only creates followers, not leaders, people that are submissive. I pray that one day Africa understands that there's need for us to do a radical transformation in terms of training. It's unfortunate that it's only in Africa where you find a 24-year-old being a graduate that is baseless, not knowing where they stand, what they specialize in. But if you look at Asia and so on, you find a 17-year-old that is a specialist in a certain field or area. I think it's high time we become decisive. We look at these things and implement in our mother continent. It is very important, again, also to understand that when it comes to issues of change, not everyone is open to change. Not everyone is willing to adapt to new changes, because there's always fear of the unknown. People are afraid of exploring new ideas and new things. So you always need to play that role of convincing the people. But to convince people, you need also to involve them in whatever you are doing, so that they're involved from the elementary stage up to the end. The problem that we have is mostly that they just want to come and implement ideas, whom people don't know who contributed, who put together the plan. So if people feel part and parcel of an idea and feel that they contributed towards the change or towards the direction or transformation that the organization wants to engage in, it's easier to have the team on board. Once again, Genevieve, thank you so much. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much to the speakers, and I'm already thinking to myself that the time that we allocated for this webinar is too small. It could have gone for a week.
I agree. I agree perfectly. I think, although our time is passing, if I don't ask this question, I'll be in trouble, because he sent me a message that Genevieve, please, this is from Ephraim. Ephraim, I don't know if you can actually ask your question briefly, because I don't know which is yours. Is it that leaders have to be more open and encourage? Is that one?
Yes.
Ephraim, are you there? Okay, Ephraim wanted me to ask his question, but I don't know which is his, but I presume he's saying leaders have to be more open and encourage members to contribute and let them know their ideas are relevant to the development. So this is more like a contribution, not a question.
Yes,
That is
yes.
so I'd like to say thank you. Yes, this is more like a contribution. So I'd like to say thank you very much if that is coming from Ephraim. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Sheng. Thank you for all the audience. Thank you to all our participants this afternoon. Thank you to everybody who has been part of this great day 2 of our session. Tomorrow,
hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Who is
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? This is Ephraim now. This is Ephraim now.
Ephraim, we are timed out, but
this is. Thank you very much. Yes. Well, my question was actually, we were actually enthralled by the presentation of the Prof. I want to say it was a very nice one. She was actually, giving us everything in detail. But one of the things I wanted Prof to do for me, my question was this: great delivery, Prof. Nana. Please, ma'am, can you use your leadership model in all your working careers so that we can learn from your own innovative, creative style? This could serve as a motivational springboard to some of us as young African leaders of tomorrow. So that was my question. So, Mommy, we want you to use your own leadership model that you developed over the years in all your working careers so that you could actually spring up. And I want to say here that I'm actually thrilled with the point that we are going back home, the communique that the youth should be carried along. That has been my advocacy. I began a youth movement for the past 4 months, but so far I've talked to about 2,000 youth so far. So that is what our own youth movement generates.
Good. That's very good. That's very good. Yes. That's what leaders are expected to do.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's what leaders are expected to do. You do the right thing and you encourage the other person to also do the right thing. That's all. That's what we have to do. And we've got to be very open with our people. You cannot hold everything in your head and expect people to be doing the things that you want done. So you have to show leadership by example, and that's live what you say. So you walk your talk, that's all it is. And leaders, we must be open and we must know that our people also have ideas to share. Very good. Thank you
so much. We must be open and know that our people also have ideas to share. So that will be my quote to end the section. We must be open leaders and know that our people also have something to share. Wisdom is not in our minds alone as leaders. Thank you so much, and it's been a wonderful session. And I know tomorrow is even going to be more powerful. Thank you so much once again on behalf of CILG Africa, CILG Ghana. We are saying thank you to all our Facebook followers, all those who streamed with us live on all the social media platforms. Thank you so much to Prof and to Dr. Shengu. Thank you, Dr. Asare Bediako. Thank you to all our African directors, and I hope to see you tomorrow as we end or we wrap up with our session. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Before you go, please, can we see your face saying bye to us in video? Bye. Can we see your face?
Bye, everybody.
Say
put
bye.
on your video. Just put on your video.
Please put on your video and say bye to us.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, put on a video. Okay, bye.
Bye to us. And please do invite someone to join us for the last session tomorrow in case
Yes.
Okay, powerful. So let somebody join us tomorrow. Have a fruitful day. Bye, and thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye from Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. So we are done.
Yes, well, we are done. It was